Good evening everyone. So let us continue with today's session. So last class we discussed about electromagnetic induction. So electromagnetic induction is how an electric current creates a magnetic field. Similarly, a magnetic field induced between a current carrying conductor will also generate electricity. So to put it in a frame sentence, we can say that the production of electricity from magnetism is called electromagnetic induction. And there is a device called galvanometer which will detect whether the current is induced or not. Okay, it will help us to understand whether the current is present in the current carrying conductor or not. So that was the topic that we ended in the last session. To continue further, we have two experiments to demonstrate how magnetism will induce electricity in a current carrying conductor. Okay, so there are two experiments. The very first experiment to demonstrate electromagnetic induction we will be using a straight wire along with a horseshoe magnet. Okay, so these are the two equipments needed to conduct this experiment. The same experiment can be carried out using a coil. Coil is take a wire and make it into a shape. Let it be a solenoid shape, which we discussed in the previous sessions. Okay, so it is a coil along with a bar magnet. Okay, if you observe, in both the cases the magnets are different and the kind of shape that we are using is different. It is the same copper wire, but we are using straight wire and a coil here. So let us first start the first experiment. Straight wire plus horseshoe magnet. So construction of the diagram, how the setup has to be. So let's have two horseshoe magnets. As we know, the horseshoe magnet will be this kind, but we are only concentrating on the edges where the poles are present. Okay, let's say this is the south pole and this is the north pole. For our convenience, I erase this because we need to draw the diagram in between. And now bring a wire, straight wire in between, and then connect the wire not to any battery source, because we are not supplying any electric current. We are generating electric current here. So we don't need a battery, but we need a galvanometer. Why is a galvanometer needed? To understand whether current is passing or not, because that will show deflection. So let us say the arrow mark is stable now. It is at the zero marking or at the standard point. Now the wire is present, so let us name the wire as A and B. Then this is the magnets, south and north pole. So once everything is set up, now since there are two magnets, there is a mechanical force acting on a conductor, which we studied yesterday. There is a mechanical force. Now start pulling the wire upwards. Okay, so if you pull the wire upwards, what happens? Let us say the wire comes from this position to this position. Let us say this is A and AB. This is A dash and B dash. It is slightly upper, isn't it? So it is going upwards. It means we are also making the wire to move. Yesterday I told you it should be in a movable condition. We are making the movement in the wire, and there is a mechanical force applied on a wire. So now if you see the galvanometer, it starts deflecting. There will be variation in the pointer. This shows there is electricity present in the circuit which is present. So if you closely observe, there is no battery source connected. We just had only two magnets and a wire, and we made a little bit of movement in that, so it generated electricity. So this shows a magnetic field can generate electricity. This is called electromagnetic induction. Similarly, the same experiment, you can also pull down the wire. Once you pulled up, the current direction was, let us say it was pulled up. Okay, the direction was like this. See, it's coming from B to A. If you pull the wire down, what happens? The current direction changes. That's it, nothing else. I'm sorry. The current direction changes. Okay, it's only that difference. Now let us write down a few observations. So from this experiment, there were some observations made. So let us put that in sentence. The first observation was the direction of induced current can be reversed by reversing the magnetic field. I just showed you. When I pulled it up, the direction was from B to A. When I pulled it down, the direction changed from A to B. So first observation we made was the direction of electric current can be reversed by reversing the magnetic field. Okay, so what did we do? We reversed the magnetic field. Then the next observation that was made, the movement of wire in a magnetic field can produce electric current. So if you had made that wire a fixed wire, then possibility of getting electricity was less or no. Okay, maybe there was zero electricity generated or very less electricity generated. We made the wire to move. Yesterday I made it a point when we did that mercury experiment, the kick wire experiment. We have to make the joint as movable joint so that the wire keeps moving. But only when the wire moves, the current is produced. So what should we write here? The movement of wire. Here wire is current carrying conductor. Created, or we can say induced electric current. Only the movement created the electric current. Okay, you can ask me a question. Why is that movement required? Because flow of charges means flow of the electrons. In order to make the electrons move, there should be some movement, right? If we are, even the stagnant water cannot conduct electricity, isn't it? Not stagnant water. Anything which is stagnant will not generate any energy. So if you want to make energy to come out of it, you have to create the movement in it. Next observation made is, so these are the two observations. Now, depending on these two observations, there is an invention called generator. Okay, so generator is a kind of device which works on the concept of electromagnetic induction. So a generator uses the movement of a rectangular coil of wire between the poles of a horseshoe magnet to produce electric current. We just had a straight line in this experiment. Just imagine a rectangular coil, which we will be studying in the next experiment. If the coil uses two magnets and if it rotates, then electricity is generated. Understood? So that we will be studying in the next part. Generator is a device which uses a coil which will rotate around two magnets, two horseshoe magnets or any bar magnet where current is induced, electric current is induced. Okay, now let us move on to the next experiment. Next experiment is using a coil along with a bar magnet. Okay, let me draw the diagram for that. So if it is a coil, then it should be this way, correct? The wires have to be twisted and turned. Now connect this to galvanometer again. The reflection is neutral and bar magnet. Here the beauty of this experiment is there is no need to move the coil, because in the earlier experiment we were moving the wire, correct? Here no need to move the coil, but move the magnet inside and outside. Both the way it is the same. Okay, so the magnet is pulled in and pulled out. Okay, so just imagine once the magnet is like this, okay, so when you pull it out, the magnet comes like this. So this is the basic diagram of this experiment. Now let us understand what is the observations that we can make here. Again, once the magnet is made moving inside and outside, the magnet gives an induced magnetic field around the coil, and this coil will get charged or it get electrized. Okay, and the electric current will move inside the circuit, and there starts the reflection. The galvanometer shows the reflection. By the reflection, we can understand that there is an electricity or electric current induced in the circuit due to the magnetism. Okay, so how can we put it in a framed sentence? The production of electric current by moving a magnet inside a fixed coil. So this is again called electromagnetic induction. The production of electricity by moving a bar magnet inside a coil, fixed coil. Can you recognize the word fixed coil? We are not moving the coil, but we are moving the magnet here. So this generates electricity. It is called electromagnetic induction. Then further, the condition necessary for the production of electric current by electromagnetic induction is that the relative motion between the coil of wire and the magnet. What is the necessary condition in this concept? Either a coil has to move or magnet has to move. Coil is somehow wire, right? So wire has to move, otherwise the magnet has to move. Either of the things has to give movement or motion so that the electricity is generated. This is the concept of electromagnetism. If I ask you a question in MCQ, what is the necessary condition for electromagnetic induction? And then you will be having multiple choices there. So one important and the compulsory choice is either of the coil or magnet has to give motion or has to be in a movement. Then further, so these two experiments were conducted and there were many observations made by scientists like Michael Faraday and Henry. So these two people have given the following observations. Let me write down the observations. Electromagnetic induction, okay? Electromagnetic induction was conducted by the scientists called Faraday and Henry. Okay, both of them have given some observations. So what are those? A current is induced in a coil when it is moved related to a fixed magnet. Current is induced only if it is moved by a fixed magnet. Isn't it? Either the wire has to move or the magnet has to move. The same necessary condition which we spoke. A current is also induced in a fixed coil when a magnet is moved relative to the fixed coil. The other case, they are speaking the other case. Initially, the wire was moved. In this case, the wire is moving. In the second experiment, the magnet was moving. The bar magnet moved, whereas the coil remained fixed. Okay, in the previous case, the magnet was fixed. The wire moved. Here, the coil is fixed and the magnet moved. These were the two observations made. Then, no current is induced in the coil if both the magnet and coil are kept stagnant or kept unmoved. If you don't know either of the thing, then there is no deflection in the galvanometer, isn't it? So, no current is induced if magnet and coil are fixed, or you can say not moved. Okay. Then when the direction of motion of coil is reversed, the direction of current induced in the coil also gets reversed. Okay. So in the first experiment I showed you, if the wire was pulled up, the direction changed from B to A. The wire was pulled down, the direction changed from A to B. In the second experiment also, the coil, let us say ABCD. Okay, in the second experiment, ABCD is the coil, right? Like this. Let us call this A, B, C, D. Okay, here is the galvanometer. So the coil is fixed and the magnet is being moved. If you want the direction of the current was moving from this direction from A, B, C and D, it was cyclic. If you wanted that to get reversed, then definitely the magnetic field also gets reversed. Both are directly proportional. So what is it? If current is reversed, even the magnetic field is reversed, which means both are directly proportional. Next, the last observation, the magnitude of current induced in the coil can be increased. What is this magnitude I am talking about? So it is the number 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere. Let us say we are all generating current. Okay. Some people need that current for household purpose. Some others need it for industry purpose. comparing the quantity required, the industry people need more current. So they need more magnitude. 2 ampere is enough for household purpose, whereas these people need some 20 ampere, 30 ampere like that. Okay. So in order to increase the magnitude of electric current, let me write here, to increase magnitude of electric current, to increase, some of the changes has to be made in the experiment. What are those changes? First, by winding the coil on a soft iron core. So the coil has to be wounded, right? In this diagram, we need some supporting material. Yes, we are moving the magnet inside and outside, but if the coil is wounded on a soft iron core, soft iron, as I told you, conducts electricity quickly and it also gives more strength. So soft iron, if you use to wind the coil, it gives you more magnitude of electric current, which means it increases the electricity. The other one is increase the number of turns in the coil. Let us say we had only 6 turns here. Increase it to 10, 20, 30. More the number of coils, more is the electricity generated. Number of turns in the coil. The next one, by increasing the strength of the magnet. Here we are using a bar magnet, which is a permanent magnet. Rather than using a bar magnet, please try using a electromagnet, which is more powerful. So use powerful magnet. Powerful magnet is nothing but electromagnet. Okay. So at the last, by increasing the speed of rotation of the coil. Okay. Now this last thing is speed of rotation of coil, which cannot be related as of now because we have not discussed how the coil gets rotated. Yes, yesterday we discussed about motor, right? Electric motor. In that I had shown you ABCD, a coil which was getting rotated. Why was it rotated? Because it was supplied with some electricity and there was a magnetic field present. Due to the mechanical force, the coil was rotating. There was a push and pull force acting on it. Similarly, in the electromagnetic induction topic, we will be having certain topics after some time where we will be using coil, ABCD coil. That coil will be rotating. The more it rotates, more is the electricity generated. The lesser it rotates, less is the electricity generated. Okay, so these are the 4 points which is needed to increase the magnitude of electric current. Now let us move on to the next topic. So these are the 2 experiments to demonstrate electromagnetic induction. Okay, so the next topic is Fleming's right hand rule. So in the previous session we had discussed about Fleming's left hand rule. Now it is right hand rule. To understand the electromagnetic induction better, let us use Fleming's right hand rule. It's the same again. Open your thumb, forefinger and middle finger. Keep them at right angles. Adjust your hand in such a way that forefinger is in the direction of magnetic field. I'm sorry, they are not in right angles. It should be like this. Okay? Can you see? It should be like this. Which means, if this is the magnetic field and if this is the induced current, both are almost in the same direction. A little bit they are twisted, that's it. They are not like this. They are not exactly opposite. They are like this. Okay? Then open your thumb. The thumb shows the motion of force or the mechanical force here. Let me draw that. Fleming's right hand rule. Here we are again using the 3 fingers. This is the forefinger, middle finger, thumb. Earlier in Fleming's left hand rule, each one were placed in 90-degree angles, perpendicular to each other. But here there is no perpendicular thing. Here, if the forefinger shows induced current, your middle finger shows magnetic field, whereas the thumb shows the motion or the mechanical force induced in the field. Understood? So it is this way. now. Mechanical force is downwards to both the field. Both induced current and magnetic field is having an opposite and vertically downward direction of this motion. Okay, so this is Fleming's right hand rule, which will be used in further concepts like AC generator and DC generator. So this is about the Fleming's right hand rule. Let's go on to the next topic. Okay, the question what you can expect here is state Fleming's right hand rule and also draw a diagram. So that is the only question which is used, which can be asked. So define, open your forefinger, thumb and middle finger and what each fingers denote, to explain that and put it a diagram. That's all. Okay. Okay. The next concept is fine. So next is direct current and alternating current. So we know what is current, the flow of charges. In that current again we have two types, the direct current and the alternating current, which means direct current is also denoted by DC, alternate current is also denoted by AC. DC is the current moving or flowing in only one direction. Now let us say there is a circuit. Okay, there is a circuit, there is some bulb or anything like this. It starts from here, keeps moving. Can you see this unidirectional? It is going, that's all. What if the current goes once in this direction, again comes back? If it is both clockwise and anti-clockwise, okay? If this happens where the current is bidirectional or it can be reversed, then that is called alternate current. The name itself suggests alternate. For every one cycle it changes its direction. Okay? Got it? So DC is the flow of current in one direction, AC is the flow of current in both the directions, which can be reversed. Okay? Now, why is this has to be understood? We all use electrical equipments, isn't it? And even the world uses electrical equipments and devices, etc. So which of the devices uses direct current and which of the devices uses alternative current? Which is better to use? What are the advantages? Let us understand. So the more usage, or if we want to suggest a best current that has to be used, it is AC current, alternate current. Even every house and the industries has alternative current which is being installed. Direct currents are used in equipments like, let us say, whichever has a battery. So the remote control which you use at home has a battery. So whichever has a cell or a battery is direct current. Okay. So if you want to give some equipments, there can be the lamps, the torch, even the TV and radio uses DC current. But you can ask me a question, ma'am, TV and radio are used at home. You said home, in every house AC current is used. Yes, the TV and radio receives AC current, but there is an equipment inside TVs and radios which can change the AC current into DC current. Okay, AC to DC, they are capable to change. So they are using DC inside the system. But there is an equipment which is turning or converting the AC to DC. Okay. Now coming to the AC current, it is used everywhere. Worldwide it is being used. One good example is any industries, trains, other equipments, especially washing machines, fridge, etc. Okay. So this is about AC and DC. And I told you the alternative current keeps reversing. In India, according to the research, what it says, for every 1 second, it takes 1/100 times. Means 1/100 is, let us say 1 second. 1 second is just one move of the small hand in the clock. So it can run for 100 times. If there is a circuit, the current goes once here and comes back, so which is reversed. 1 second 100 such revolutions happen. So that is the speed of the AC current in India. Okay. So what is it? How is it? How can we calculate that? Everything we'll see in the upcoming topic. Then next comes electric generator. So if you had noticed in the beginning, I told you when we started the experiment for electromagnetic induction, this is a major application in a device called generator. Electric generator. Generator is a kind of device which is capable of converting the mechanical energy into electrical energy. Whereas the motor converted electrical energy into mechanical energy. Here the generator converts mechanical to electrical using the concept of electromagnetic induction. So there are two types of electric generator. One is AC generator and the other one is DC generator. Alternate current generator and direct current generator. So electric generator is a device which can convert the mechanical energy into electrical energy. Mechanical to electrical energy. There are two types here. One is AC generator, other one is DC generator. Now let us understand each one in detail. How do we construct an AC generator? What is the working of an AC generator? Similarly with the DC generator. Okay. Should we pause? Should we pause? What's the time? Time.
8:58.
Okay, AC generator. AC generator is alternative current generator which produces the current in reverse direction continuously, both the direction. It goes clockwise and anti-clockwise. How do we construct that? So there is a diagram given here. There are two magnets. Okay. Then there is a coil, a wire which is made in the shape of rectangle. A, B, C, D. Okay, A, B, C, D. This is the coil, and these coils are. It is similar to the DC, electric motor which we constructed in the previous class. But there is slight change. Here we had a commutator in the last diagram, but now we will have a ring. Okay, a kind of ring. And there is a brush associated with each ring. Okay, B1 and B2. These two are rings. ABCD is a coil. These are magnets. And what else? These brushes are connected to a galvanometer. So this is the diagram. Okay. Okay. So we were discussing about AC generator. So this is the diagram. How to set up. Let me explain each components. These are the two permanent magnets with north and south pole given here, and in the middle we have. Yes, Lekana?
You are muted.
Fine. So this is the AC generator. Let me explain the components for this construction. There are two permanent magnets kept in the either side, and there is a coil ABCD. It is in such a way where the ends of the coil are connected to two split rings. Okay. In the electric motor diagram, we had a commutator, kind of commutator like this, and then brushes associated to along with that. But here we are using split rings. If you see, the A connection is coming for ring 1, whereas the D connection is coming to ring 2, which is not continued here. And then later ring 1 is connected to a brush B1, and brush B1 is connected to a galvanometer. Then again the galvanometer is connected to brush B2 and ring 2, then it goes. Now let us say the current, it is in anti-clockwise direction. We have two magnets, magnetic field is created. Once there is a magnetic field, we have the current carrying conductor, there is no electricity supplied. Because of the magnetic force, can you see the motion here? The mechanical force which is induced by both the magnets upon this coil, it will make the coil to move. Okay, it will start rotating now. Now, let us say the current is coming from here. Initially, it is from B, A, B, C. While it is coming to BA, before it goes to D, it has to cross R2, R1, B1, B2, then, okay, between B1 and B2 we have the galvanometer as well. Then it goes to D, then C. Isn't it? It starts from B, A, R2, R1, B1, galvanometer, B2, D, C, and then it continues. So it is one cycle, which was anti-clockwise direction. So what happens? The ring started moving. It became like this in the vertical position. As soon as it comes to vertical position, the current switches. The current goes in the alternative way because this is AC current. AC current is taking both the direction. Once clockwise, then anti-clockwise. Now the current reverses. Okay, current reverses. It goes this way. So now the same diagram, how can I say? It comes from C, D, D, after D it is B2, B2 to galvanometer, then B1, then R1, then R2, then A, then B again. Okay, it started from C, D, R2, B2, galvanometer, B1, R1, again R2, then it goes. I'm sorry, this is not R2, directly for the brush B2. So one thing what we are observing is, it was R2 to R1 in the first anti-clockwise and B1 to B2. Whereas in the clockwise direction what happens, it is B2 to B1 and R1 to R2. Both are reversed, which tells us both the induced current is reversed and the magnetic field is also reversed, and there will be deflection in the galvanometer. So this is the working of a AC generator. Now, what are the observations that we can make here? More than observations, few things to understand is, in the first revolution, first half of the revolution, the electric current was positive, which is anti-clockwise. In the second half of the revolution, the current is negative, which is from plus to minus, now it is minus to plus, that's it. Then, so for every one revolution, the current reverses 2 times. Okay? If you want to tell there is one full circle completed, the current will go in this coil for 2 times. One is clockwise and other one is anti-clockwise. I told you in the beginning, this ABCD coil was like this. It started moving. So in this position, already the current has moved. Clockwise is over, anti-clockwise is over. Before it comes to this position, it will go clockwise. So did you observe? For only one revolution of the coil, the current reversed twice. Okay? So in India, the AC current that is being produced has a frequency of 50 Hertz. Frequency is, now let us say you are standing in a bus stop and you are waiting for 1 hour, since 1 hour. Since 1 hour you have seen 10 buses passing through that bus stop. If I ask you a question, what is the frequency of buses? You say that there are 10 buses per hour. Okay? So for 1 hour, you can expect 10 buses to come to that stop. That is the frequency. Similarly in India, what is the frequency of AC current? How many times does this AC current keeps flowing? It is 50 Hertz. Hertz is a, Hertz is a unit of measuring the frequency. What does that mean? So for every 1 second, I told you 100 revolutions happen. So, okay. So in India, if it is 50, I'm sorry. Okay. For every 1 revolution, 2 times the current is reversed. 1 revolution, 2 times current is reversed. Now, let us take 50 revolutions. 50 times the coil is moving. So for 50, you multiply 2 because current is reversed 2 times for 1 revolution. For 50 times, how many times it is? 100. That is why I told you, in India, for every 1 second, 100 times the current reverses. That is the speed of the current in India. So this can be a question in MCQ. It is 1 by 100, or you can say for every 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm confusing you. It is not 1 minute. For every 1 second, 100 times the current is reversed. Okay. Now, so in the power stations means there are many power stations in India. For example, in Karnataka we have it in Bhadravati, Kaiga, where the electricity is generated from the water which is falling from the falls. So there in the power stations, the electricity which is generated uses certain conditions. That is, by using a powerful magnet, definitely these two magnets has to be a powerful magnet. Obviously it is an electromagnet. Then practically the voltage has to be high. The voltage is the efficiency of the current. Then the number of woundings, it has to be increased, as I told you in the experiment, and a soft iron core has to be used around the coil, which means the material for this, if it is soft iron core, that gives you more efficiency. Okay, these are the observations. And when I said more and more woundings, it can be like this. The coil can be made thick by using many wires. Okay, it is still a rectangular coil, but we have many turns. Okay, so that is all about. And one more thing, by rotating the coil faster, if you want the electricity to be generated faster, use a powerful magnet which makes the coil to rotate faster and faster. Let us say we had a permanent magnet which gave you 10 turns. Now you use an electromagnet, use electromagnets here. This gives you 50 turns. So more and more turns, more is the electricity generated. Okay. Then by using coil with larger area. Okay, my diagram has, let us say the length is 5, sorry, the breadth is 5, the length is 10. Use more area. Okay, so if I have to calculate area for this rectangle, 10 5s are 50 square meters is the 50 square meter is the area. Use more area, let's say 100, 2000 square meter. So more the area, more is the current produced. So that is about the AC generated. The powerhouse AC generators are fixed set of coils arranged around a rotating electromagnet. Powerhouse is the hydroelectricity power plants where the electricity is generated. That is called the powerhouse. There people use electromagnet and a fixed coil with multiple turns. Okay. So next concept is DC generator. DC generator is similar to AC generator, but here there is no need to reverse the current. So what are we doing? We are removing this part. If it is a DC generator, the same diagram, use a commutator which we used in motor, right? So use brush 1 and brush 2, connect that to. This is B1 and B2. This is commutator. Okay, fine. Why is a commutator used here? In order to give the connection between the circuit. So in the previous session we discussed about electric motor. If you remember, there I had told you the function of a commutator ring is to reverse the direction of current flowing through the coil every time the coil just passes the vertical position. So in the AC generator it was automatically getting reversed, but here we need to do it manually. So that is the reason we are using commutator, which gives the DC generator diagram, and the working is same again, no changes. There is no much to describe here. It is similar to AC generator. So that is the topic for today. We will continue in the next class. Thank you so much. One topic